worse options that they take. And then in China, that has often been the case. But how bad it can be, we did not anticipate full elimination, massacre, bringing tanks for that. And then that is what it is. Troops roll in. They have agenda. They need to clear Tiananmen Square. Whoever on their way, they were given green lights to use real ammunition, and they did.
Did you escape early, or were you?
I was in the square. The Tiananmen Square itself was not really the killing field.
It was the avenues leading into the square.
Yes. And then when the troops come to Tiananmen Square, Liu Xiaobo negotiated a term with the troops to avoid massacre at the square. So, for him to get in the Nobel Peace Prize, this is definitely one of the most important.
Made it to the West and eventually to Taiwan, and we're going to pick up your story back in Taiwan. But now I want to reflect a little bit on the meaning of 89 and Tiananmen for today's China. Because today's leaders in China still believe that the chaos, what they see as the chaos and the sort of mob rule in Beijing in June of 89 is one of the best justifications for them maintaining their one-party rule on the country today, because they are the guarantors of stability and security for the great mass of the Chinese people. And they say nobody wants to go back to the crazy, awful day. What is your response to that?
Didn't we hear that from time to time from different dictators around the world? They have to remain in power to provide safety and stability. They are the source of China's chaos. Not only in Tiananmen, not only in 1989, but in the last 60-some years.
But does not the pattern of events that we've seen, for example, in the Middle East since 2011, support their case? Their case being that in the end you need a strong central government that is capable of imposing its will on the country to deliver security, because when you lose that, and you could point to Egypt, you could point to Syria or to Yemen or a host of other Arab countries after the popular uprisings, when you lose that, you introduce chaos and then ethnic tensions and then internal violence on a scale that in China could only be imagined.
Yet, 750 years ago, you decided to adopt democracy. I am quite sure in the early days of the beginning era of democracy, it was quite chaotic in this country too. And then you managed to prevail. Democracy prevailed here in the last 750 years. And give them time. The Arab world, they need time. They need support. And then they need patting on the shoulder and says, you're doing good. You're doing better than yesterday. But not to accuse like the price they had to pay for democratization. And then that is errors.
But I suppose the argument would be that far from paying a price over the last almost 30 years, the Chinese people have reaped the reward of stability. We've seen the most extraordinary improvement in material living standards known in human history. 600 million people and more lifted out of poverty by the one-party communist rule inside China. And today's president in China, Xi Jinping, he says this, he says, China cannot copy the political system or development model of other countries. It would not fit us. It would lead to catastrophic consequences. His message, with us, you get
one
prosperity.
Of my remarks. If you are saying that is the understanding of the Western democracy world, that delivering is most important, I would definitely go back again to the 20th and 30th, to Hitler, and maybe not Hitler. Every time when I say Hitler, I see people like, no, you cannot say that. How about Mussolini? Facing people's demands. They don't know how to do that. They don't want to do it. And then come to think about it, I can almost understand them. We wanted dialogue in 1989, and then the dialogue has been the central phrase in the last 20-some years. Tibetans want dialogue, Uyghurs want dialogue, and then this time Hong Kong students want dialogue. They even decide to purchase their own air ticket flight to Beijing to have that dialogue, and Chinese government said no dialogue.
And you have actually personally tried to return to your homeland, I know several times.
4 times.
And in a sense you've said, arrest me,
yes,
but then take me back to my homeland, partly because then maybe I can see my parents.
And then I can continue that dialogue in the courtroom of China, even in the form of indictment and plea. Yeah, I want to have that dialogue.
serious about that? Despite a comfortable life in Taiwan and believing that Taiwan is a working democracy, you would rather go back to your homeland, to China, to face a court and make your case for democracy.
And then I can at least see my parents, even if it is in